Have you ever calculated your CRS score using the CRS tool on the Government of Canada's website, only to find a different result when you created your express entry profile? Why is that? How accurate is the CRS tool? Is it 100%? Is it just an estimate? How well can you rely on the results that you get? Let's discuss this in this edition of Going Places with Abu Micah. So a lot of times this happens, that you create an express entry profile and you get, lower points than you expected, or sometimes you can even get higher points than you expected. So it raises some questions on the, reliability of the CRS tool that is on the Government of Canada's website. And it also doesn't help that on the website itself, on the CRS tool, there's actually a disclaimer that if there is any discrepancy between the results of the tool and the results in the system, then the results in the system are the ones that will apply. So when I did my own investigation about this, I found that the tool itself is actually 100% accurate. Why? Because it's created by the Government of Canada, so it can be an unreliable estimate. But then the thing is that the CRS tool is not an express entry simulator. It does not simulate how you actually create an express entry profile. Okay, so for example, CRS, the comprehensive ranking system gives you points for things like your age, your skilled work experience, your level of education, more specifically your highest level of education or your assessed level of education. And then you get points for things like your spouse's credentials, her education, her work experience, her education, language proficiency, and any ties to Canada and the like. So one of the things now is that when you create an when you use the CRS tool, right? The CRS tool asks you for your age. So you're simply selecting your age from a drop-down list. But then the express entry system, it doesn't give you, like a drop-down tool whereby you just select your age from a tool. But what it does is it asks you to input your date of birth. So the system automatically calculates your age at the time of profile creation based on your date of birth. So for example, if you ask anyone, how old are you? It's like someone can tell you maybe I'm 33 years old right now, but I may say I'm 34 because I'm turning 34 this year, something like that. So you may sometimes use the CRS, tool incorrectly by putting your age based on some other criteria that is not, how the express entry system calculates your age, right? Then another point is that when you are calculating your skilled work experience, right, you have to be very careful because your skilled work experience depends on two things. Number one, the date you became eligible to work in the job under that specific NOC code. So for example, if the job that you are claiming points for requires a bachelor's degree, the express entry system will calculate your work experience based on the work experience that you gained after obtaining the degree. So you may say, I have got 6 years work experience as a product manager, right? But you only, and according to the NOC code that you select, product manager requires a bachelor's degree, right? But I obtained my bachelor's degree, let's say last year. And then I've been working for the last 6 years. So the express entry system will only award me points based on 1 year of work experience, not based on 6. Okay, so the CRS tool doesn't do that. Okay, so now what happens now is in the CRS2, you're simply selecting your years of experience from a drop down. But in the express entry calculator, in the express entry system, it will ask you questions. When did you become eligible to work in this NOC? What were your employment start dates? What were your employment finish dates, right? So that's how it is. So that's why sometimes you then get some of these discrepancies between the CRS2 and the express entry system. The other thing also to note is, so I've talked about age, I've talked about skilled work experience. The third thing is level of education. Now, your level of education, you may say, okay, I got a master's degree, okay, from the University of, Lopani, okay? But you are awarded points based on the highest level of education, for which you got Canadian equivalency by an accredited body. Okay, so you might say, okay, I'm creating an express entry profile, I have got a bachelor's degree. Okay, but then when you send your documents for evaluation, maybe your bachelor's degree may be awarded the Canadian equivalency of a postgraduate diploma, which will give you less points than a bachelor's degree. So these are some of the nasty surprises then that people get when they create, their express entry profiles, right? And then they start saying, the CRS2 is not reliable. It's only an estimate. Sometimes it can be lower. When you calculate your points using CRS, subtract 3 points, subtract 4 points, subtract 5 points, and it's not like that. So I hope these are some of the things that we need to be aware of. The CRS tool is 100% accurate, but you have to make sure that you enter your information in the express entry profile in exactly the same way that meets the requirements of whatever you would have put in the CRS tool. Okay. Thank you very much. This is Abu Micah. I'm in the United Arab Emirates. I'm an express entry candidate, and I like to share, knowledge about express entry immigration system, and also share my own experience with this process. I hope you like this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notifications button so that you don't miss out on the next video.